Two Guys Talking.
With Marcus and Kris. Episode 5 this time.
Yeah.
Last week was episode 4. That was my bad.
Yeah, so what I said the other week about episode 0, just throwing the whole thing off. Yeah.
It's true. It's our 5th recording.
It's a stupid idea.
Look, man, like I said, when we get to a point where that doesn't matter, it'll be great. It'll be a nice little quirk. At the minute, it's just a spanner. And eventually that'll turn the knob and it'll be sound.
Yeah. But we're going to have to wait a bloody long time for that to happen. But you know what helps you pass the time more quickly whilst waiting for that?
Go on.
Alcohol.
Yes.
So what are you drinking tonight?
I'm just finishing up my previous drink at the minute. I'll get on to what I'm drinking after I've had this.
Okay, fair. Well, as for myself, I'm drinking a Goose Island IPA. Now, the reason why I chose this is because I believe we have a brand ambassador.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
So they don't know this, okay? But a friend of mine's brother has an Instagram page, and it's called larry.the.goose. Okay. I'll quickly show you what it is. So you've got a
It's like one of those chickens, you know, those squishy chickens that just go.
Yeah. And you've essentially got different pictures of this toy goose in different situations. This one's him inside of a Budweiser box. There's one here of him inside of a trumpet. On the lash inside of a Carlsberg box. I don't know why the goose isn't in any Goose IPA boxes. Like, surely it's just perfect.
So why is this Goose our brand ambassador?
Well,
why?
Well, I'm drinking it right now, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and plus, according to like some of these photos where he's like literally hiding inside of a beer box, it's perfect. That's pretty much like if you were a toy goose, you'd do the same thing, surely.
No, if I was a cat, I would be in a box.
I mean, they have cats on here as well, you know. So yeah, larry.the.goose. Go and give it a follow on Instagram and tell them that Two Guys Talking sent them.
Yeah. And in saying that, I began our Instagram story. I have created one social media for the podcast.
So we're actually using stories now?
I have created one social media, I should say.
Okay.
I've created one Instagram, which is at TGT_pod.
Okay, nice. We've actually got a podcast Instagram now. That's decent.
Yeah. Someone had already taken TGT_podcast, so it's like, you know what? I don't need the cast. Just TGT.
Who are these people? Like, I want to know. I want to listen to their podcast and find, but I can't actually find it. TGT.
Yeah. There's a few TGTs, like two guys talking whatever, and we just didn't add the end bit. We were just like, no, we're just two guys talking. We're not talking this or that. We're just chatting shit.
Yeah. Well, that's incredibly irritating, but I don't know, man. I guess we've worked around it.
Talking about chatting shit, we hit the limit last week. Now, if you recall from the first episode we did, which was 000.
Back to my previous point, you idiot.
We set some hard limits on the podcast. We set a 60-minute standard episode, which we have a timer for to end.
It's like a target, and then the alarm goes off, right?
Yeah.
Always scares me.
We give ourselves some leeway after that, and that leeway goes to 70 minutes. And at 70 minutes, we just cut.
Yeah, it just stops.
Hard cut.
Doesn't matter. Which is very fortunate for you because of what I was talking about after the 70-minute mark.
Yeah.
Which we will be posting as a highlight on YouTube.
You say we will be. We have posted it. It is already on there. If you look for our YouTube channel, which I'm not going to link, I'm going to let you find it. I'm going to let you search for it.
Yeah, you need to work for that, man. Come on.
There is an episode called Post Show, which is everything that happens after the fact. And you know what's funny about that? You know, we've got the ambient recording, the don't need it, but better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Yeah, you've got like a third mic set up, basically. Yeah, in addition to the mics that we've got for each of us.
It is very rare that I actually need to use that audio when doing the edit.
Mm-hmm.
But we forgot about it completely last week.
Yeah. It was going for like an extra half hour.
So after you ended the main recording, that one was still rolling.
Yeah.
And the conversation after you hung this one up is so much more funny.
Yeah, it's a shame that wasn't in the actual podcast. Well, it's just...
I don't think that would have ever been in the main podcast.
Here's the thing, right? The whole issue, right? Podcasts are good when you can just be free to speak whatever you want and you can be just raw and real with it, right? So obviously the fact that I knew that we weren't actually recording, I was just saying things there just for your benefit, because I knew that you'd be listening back to the edit afterwards, knowing that it wasn't going to go anywhere. So I felt like I was free to say whatever I wanted, right? Which is how I should feel anyway. But
I'm not going to get us censored again, am I?
Yeah, we're not gonna. Well, you might do actually. I don't know, but it's really irritating because I don't want it to affect the quality of this podcast.
That's why it's a separate thing. It's not connected to the main podcast platform. If we share it, it is shared on Spotify.
Yeah,
and whatever we do on any other platform is just happenstance.
I do wonder. So obviously we use Anchor.fm to kind of manage these podcasts and to publish them, right?
To distribute,
yeah, and that's a Spotify platform. So obviously we can edit podcasts after the fact and cut down bits that we want to remove and change things and add bits and whatever. Does that apply to other podcast platforms too?
I haven't got a clue.
I hope it does. Otherwise,
I know Anchor delivers the podcast to multiple platforms, including Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we can edit the episode from Anchor, and that has updated on Spotify.
Because we use Spotify.
Yeah. But I've not checked anywhere else.
Yeah, because
I don't use anywhere else.
Same.
Especially Apple Podcasts, because neither of us use a bloody iPhone.
It's funny. So I was saying to someone literally last night, there is not a single Apple device in this household. You can't find a lightning cable. The only thing that comes close to an Apple device is my battery bank, which has 2 charger inputs. One is micro USB and the other one's lightning, which is
that is true.
That is amazing.
That is true.
That is very good design. Very good design.
And ironically, that is the only charger we have for an Apple device.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we need it.
No, of course not. God, no. I mean, it's not. Look, there's no debate which is better. Just you do you, get the phone that you want. I've just never grown up with Apple influence in my house. I mean, my mum's got an iPad, but that's because I bought it for her one Christmas. She certainly deserves that. And she loves it. It's great. But we don't have like an Apple ecosystem. We don't have like a family, not even iTunes. I'm showing my age now. What is it? Apple Music. What do you kids listen to these days? Look, no, we don't have like the ecosystem, the Apple ecosystem at my mum's house, and we don't have it here either. So it's never been required.
I'm the opposite. In my family home, where my parents live, obviously, they are all Apple. My mother, fiance, sister.
You got a fiance?
Baby sister.
My G. When did you get a fiance?
My mum's fiance, you piece of shit. They all use iPhones. And every time I go around, they're like, are you going to get a proper phone? Like, I have a proper phone. Watch Apple invent whatever I'm using next year.
Yeah.
Honestly, watch it.
Yeah.
Like, which one was it? The smartwatches were invented by a different company. It wasn't even a mobile.
Here's the thing, right? So I know where you're going with this. You're saying that, Apple, they don't innovate anymore. They just kind of copy.
I'm not saying that, because the recent phone has been quite a solid design. I actually really like the look of the new iPhone, which I believe is the iPhone 12.
Okay, yeah.
It looks solid. It looks sturdy. It's one of the ones I've looked at and gone, this might twist me into getting an iPhone. I'm due an upgrade if I want.
Yeah.
I've had my 2 years on my contracts now, and I am due an upgrade.
It's the kind of phone where you look at it and think, if I put this in my back pocket and sit down, it's not going to bend. Right? But the way that I look at it is, surely it's not always best to innovate and to lead an area. Surely it's best to let other companies make the mistakes first, and then you can just iterate and refine and then come out with a product. There's a reason why Apple hasn't attempted a folding phone, because we're still trying to develop the technology and still trying to justify that market. So I guess that's why.
I guess Apple lets everyone else do the R&D. Then when there's a solid basis, they jump on the ship and make something a bit better.
It's expensive, man, to get a new product to market. It's very expensive.
But I was watching a video recently, and this is a historic representation of what you were just saying. Before we had massive iron warships, obviously everything was wood and sail. And the British secretly are in the background with the Royal Navy developing all these steamships, iron-hulled warships, all that rubbish. And this is leading up to HMS Warrior. And the precursor to the Royal Navy actually building the Warrior was the French making something similar across the channel.
Right.
It's like, well, we've got all this technology developed, but we've not implemented it into anything because we would be making ourselves obsolete, which is what they did with HMS Dreadnought.
Mm-hmm.
So they would make the technology and then keep it in the background and keep refining it and making it better until someone brought something that would challenge the Royal Navy, and they'd just do a massive leap in technology and be like, all right, you've built an iron warship. Look what we can do. We can do it better.
Is it bad that I don't know any of the names of these ships?
No.
Fair enough.
I mean, these ships were built in the 1850s.
Okay, and when were you built?
I was built in 1997. No, 1995.
I was going to say, what the fuck?
1995.
I'm built in 95. Yeah,
1995.
Wait, no, you weren't. You were born in 96.
Yeah, but I was built in 95.
Clever. Because your birthday's at the beginning of 96.
Exactly.
Yeah, very nice.
I'm a 95 development 96 baby.
You're a boring fucker.
I'm not gonna.
Well, no. To be fair, this is the interesting fact-fueled segment of the podcast where we actually sound. Well, you sound like actually an intelligent person talking about really cool history and really nice
this
things.
is the only time I sound intelligent, though.
Yeah, the beer hasn't set in yet. Talking
about beer, I am gonna open my first beer.
Okay.
Which is a Morehouse's Blonde Witch. Remember getting this on Pumping Weatherspoons back in the day?
Oh yeah.
Lovely beer. And it's a shame we can't have it in a pub. However, they do serve it in the local corner shop.
Well, yeah, but when you say serve, they don't pour it for you. They just give you the bottle and tell you to fuck off.
Look, man, I can't do it in the pub. I gotta feel like I'm doing something for the industry.
Get a tap, man. You gotta get a tap.
We have taps. They serve water. It's not the right kind of tap.
That's fair. I mean, you have to drink a lot of it to like get smashed, right?
With beer, not so much.
I'm talking about the water.
Oh.
If it's the only thing that we can get on tap, then we're just going to have to drink a lot of it, right?
Believe it or not, if you drink too much water, it can kill you.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, you'll drown.
Water is the thing that gives life to everything on the planet, but too much of it also kills you. It's quite ironic.
Yeah. Well,
so
I mean,
you can dilute your blood system so much that it can't carry enough oxygen to the body.
Yeah, but couldn't you also argue that too much oxygen could kill you as well?
Yeah, it does.
Pure oxygen.
Yeah, it will.
All right then. I know what I'm doing tonight. No, I'm joking.
Well, you've seen people get high off oxygen. They will like have an oxygen tank.
Yeah.
Breathe pure oxygen to get high.
It's because it starves the brain of certain things.
I'm going to say nitrogen because that's the only significant thing in air.
You get those Nos canisters that you get for whipped cream things.
Yeah.
And you see those littered in the street all the time.
Remember that picture I took? There's a dead pigeon on the street and next to it was some Nos bottles.
Oh, fucking hell.
It's
I mean, I know you're trying to get into photography, but I mean,
even the pigeons are doing the Nos.
You're doing some really dark shit there, taking photos of that, man.
Oh, it was funny. I just happened across it. I thought it was a bit funny, if not a bit morbid.
I mean, at least it went out having a great time. But I mean, oh, fucking hell! But they litter the streets with that shit.
They do. It is very frustrating to think it's a legal high. I think you can just get NOS and get the thing to do it all.
Yeah, it's not easy to get it, but I mean, anyone can
just
do it.
Litter the little canisters everywhere.
And I don't know why they do that. If you're going to be a degenerate, at least clean up after yourself.
Well, that's kind of going against the degenerate side of things.
Yeah, but I mean, we do it.
No, we don't.
Well, no, I don't leave beer everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
After this, I'm going to take this can to the tap, rinse it out, and then put it in the recycling just because I don't want the sticky, I don't want to attract flies, right? So it might do fuck all. It might do nothing, but it's just what I do. I like rinsing out the bottles and shit before I put them, because I mean our recycling bin's not got a lid in it. It's just it's just a basket. It's just like a box.
Look, man, you remember my first flat? Oh, to explain, Marcus, you were living in Salford when I got my first flat in Manchester.
That's right.
And I believe your recycling was just a hot mess of things that never got taken out.
Oh, 100%. The people didn't give a fuck. Like, we could do the recycling, but then what would happen is, like, the guys dealing with it would all just go, like, all of the bins are just the exact same anyway, so it's, like, pointless. It's the same at work.
This is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about every time I would come over,
oh, right.
you'd just have, like, big boxes full of recycling that you've not taken out.
Is that where you got the idea for it?
Yeah, I was like, actually, this is a good idea.
Why would you look at that like it's a good idea?
Get a little basket for the recycling. We
were living in squalor, man. Like, why would you, like, be okay with that?
However, this is the basket I got from the idea, and it was, don't let it overflow to the point where you need to make more than one trip to get rid of the recycling.
Yeah, like it's a clear indicator when it's full. You need to go.
Obviously, I was living the top floor of the apartment complex, so it's like you've got the handles. You just pick it up. Take the elevator down when it was working. Go over to the bin store, chuck it out, walk back in, go back up.
Talk about trash talk on the podcast. I mean, fucking hell. Well, okay, let me. I mean, that's all well and good, but I want to put that conversation in the bin and talk about something that I reckon might start a bit of a debate, and it's about the royal family.
I will clarify that I have seen the headlines and said, fuck this. This isn't newsworthy. Why are people pieces of shit?
Right, so you spoke about this last week in terms of like Kim Kardashian and Kanye.
Yeah.
You don't care about them. Why are you hearing about it? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
and it's funny. I've got the thing you put on the mood board. I think it's pretty funny. It's Modern Warfare 2 Rust with the Queen and Meghan Markle having a nice little quick scoping match.
Meghan Markle?
I don't know what she's called, man.
Meghan Markle? What? She's not that weird ghost character from Chamber of Secrets. Moaning Merkel. What? No, that's Moaning Myrtle. But no. So if you think about, right, there's a meme where you've got the Call of Duty shooting game, and it's 1v1 Rust, right? And you've got the Queen versus Meghan Markle. It's fucking sick. I love to see it. You'd love to see it. We need to make it happen, and if they could stream it as well, that'd be sick.
I mean, yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. Like, again, I understand the situation from the headlines.
Mm-hmm.
When I saw this in the news, I was like, "Fuck this shit!" Right? Meghan and Harry are living their life how they want to live. Let them do it. Stop being a piece of shit.
So
respect what they want to do, and support them. Don't blast them in the news on social media or whatever for being traitorous to the crown.
Now, the thing is, they have got a lot of shtick over the years, and it's completely unfair. The media's been very hard to Meghan and very, complete opposite to Kate Middleton for various reasons. It's kind of annoying that this whole headline came out last Monday, the fucking day after we record the podcast. And, of course, podcast goes out on a Wednesday, so it's almost like old news now, but
we're like 4 days behind.
Look, the
current events.
The thing is, right, like, I've got an opinion on the royal family, which I will get into in a second, but, like, in fairness, like, Meghan wasn't being very specific. Now, she might have been being vague on purpose to be courteous, to be respectful.
Is this the Oprah Winfrey?
Yeah. It's basically shitposting. I'm not saying that.
I read somewhere that the actual interview was over 3 hours, and they had to cut about half of it out.
Yeah.
And that might have been on purpose to make it vague. It might have been just because there was a lot of not interesting segments. I don't know.
Look, the way I see it,
I would like to clarify, it was a 3 hour conversation.
Okay, well, I didn't know that, so fair enough. But my issue is, right, we've got Liz. She's sick. Doing a great service. I don't care, like, I'm not a royalist, because here's the catch, right? Liz has done a very good job. I fucking sound like Trump. She's done a very good job. She's done the best job. Nobody could do it like her. Okay. The difference is when she goes, no one else can do it as good as her. Like, the rest of the family, they're all shit. To be honest, I think we should just get rid of the monarchy after she pops her clogs. I mean, like, what else is there to do? You don't vote them in. They clearly don't want to do the job. Meghan and Harry, they fucked off to the States. I mean, of course they did, man. I was in charge of the States. We have the best economy. We've done the best, healthcare. It's been better than it ever has been during a pandemic. We've completely, made everything. Obviously, Trump's chatting shit.
I would like to stop you right there. They did not move to the States. They moved to Canada.
Well, yeah, but that's like a better States. like if you're going to move to the States, you should move to Canada because...
Except Quebec, because fuck the French.
So...
Ooh, I'm joking. That was a big joke.
You say that you like fuck the French. Fair enough, right? Cheese-eating surrender monkeys. But you literally said, where do you want to go? If you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go?
My response to that when you asked me this during the week was St. Helena.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Because it is an isolated island where they left Napoleon to die after the Napoleonic Wars.
And where was Napoleon born?
In France.
Yeah. So that, in my head at least, makes you French. So
no, St. Helena is a British overseas territory.
Nice.
It was always British. And the reason they put Napoleon there was so he couldn't escape.
Nice.
It's isolated.
Yeah, like it's one of those places where it just takes you so long to get there. You know, just not because of distance, just because of like infrastructure.
You know what? After you asked me this, I looked up how to get to St. Helena.
Mm-hmm.
I would have to get a flight from here to South Africa, and then once a week during normal, regular times, there would be a flight to St. Helena. However, you also need permission from the UK government to even go on the island.
I mean, there's a lot of barriers.
Yeah.
Can I ask though? So, as a British citizen, because it's British territory, you could just go, couldn't you? Like,
No. You still need permission from the UK government to set foot on St. Helena.
So you can't just go as a tourist.
Nope.
What even?
You could probably apply to go in a tourist sense, but you can't just. I'm going to get a flight and go like
they
you would in Europe.
They have to approve it.
Yeah.
How weird. Why is that?
Probably because it's a delicate ecosystem. It's a small island in the middle of the Atlantic. It's not got much outside influence. Therefore, you probably want to keep that safe.
I mean, fair enough. But I mean, like, it sounds like they're just being held captive by their own government almost. But I mean, I'm sure there's reasons for it.
One thing I forgot to ask you about last week is holidays.
Holidays, okay.
Holidays. We are in a fortunate position where a vaccination program is going quite well. And I believe Marcus will be getting the jab. I know I will be getting the jab as soon as it becomes available to me.
Give me the fucking jab. Give me the fucking jab. I want to get the fucking jab.
Hey, guess what? You get 2 jabs.
I'm going to shoot
two
up.
2 jabs, one in the left,
one
in the right.
I want to get some fucking jabs.
And I was thinking...
This is where we start to sound stupid now.
Yeah. I was thinking about post-COVID holidays that I would like to book. And the top of the list for me right now is Prague or Moldova.
Moldova, where's that?
It's pretty close to Russia.
Okay.
The reason I want to go to Moldova is the cheap beer.
Don't you want that? Yeah, and what's Prague known for? Also cheap beer, right?
Exactly.
Getting the Chubruskis in with the boys.
If I recall correctly, this is something Josh recommended we go to Moldova. So it's cheap in general. Yeah. Not just the beer, it's just cheap in general.
Has it ever crossed your mind to go to somewhere warm?
I did, and I hated it.
I mean, I guess that's why we have beer jackets, just to warm up. Well, I went to Prague. When did I go now?
You've been a few times. Like, obviously, your father lives in the Czech Republic.
Well, I believe
I don't know
it's
what they call it
now. Yeah, Czechia.
Yeah,
so
I need to remember not to call it Czechoslovakia. That's where I am on
that's
this history.
Fucking, it's been Czech since before you were born, man. Like, I think I want to say it was 91 when Czechoslovakia was partitioned, but I'm not sure.
I think it was after.
You probably know.
It would have been part of the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union dissolved in 1991, and I believe it was around 98 that they split.
You know, you're probably right, and I believe...
You know what? I'll let you continue. I will do a quick Google for you and clarify this.
Fantastic. This is why we have the laptop. This is why we're here. So, yeah, like, I'd go to Prague every now and then, not that often. Like I said, my dad does live over there. He doesn't live in Prague, though. He lives in a different town. Basically, if Prague's London, then he lives in the Manchester equivalent. That's how I always see it, and just in terms of relative size, right? So I'd get a flight to Prague. I'd then make my way over to the train station. Huge train station. Like, it's magnificent. Like, it's massive. I mean, not as big as... like I'm sure China's got like a more like over the top setup. Okay, but
like,
really, really good.
I feel like the one that would take the cake is the one in Japan.
Oh yeah,
The
Duckville Platypus, whatever it's called.
No,
that's the train. What was the?
I know it begins with S. I can't remember the name anymore, but they have over 20 platforms on multiple levels because they have overground and underground.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like that, but
apparently the inside is a maze.
So in Prague, when you walk onto the platforms, there's like a huge opening, and if you look up to the ceiling, there's like a beautiful. It's like mosaic with like a circular kind of roof thing going on. It's it's a whole thing, all underground, great. And when you get on the train, and you know how I just said that like the journey I was taking was, in my opinion, equivalent to getting a train from London to Manchester. Okay. It's about 2.5 hours, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to know the cost of a first class train ticket? I mean, this was like 4 years ago.
20 euros.
But, right, first class train ticket, not just first class though. Like, it's not British first class, it's Czech first class. So you get a cabin, you get a cubicle, that's yours, and you get champagne and orange juice, both in champagne glasses. You get water, sandwich.
What you get there, sir, is a mimosa if you mix it.
No. You get good fucking value, right? £13.
Oof.
£13.
But what is that in euros?
I don't know, 15, 16 euros.
Yeah.
But they don't use euros, they use crowns.
I thought it'd be interchangeable in Czech.
I mean, in Prague, yes, but I wasn't staying in Prague. I was going to Olomouc, so
yeah, fair enough.
They don't really. But yeah, you are right. Like there was a bit of a dual acceptance just because of, it's the capital and you're in the middle of Europe.
Yeah,
it's just they've done a UK thing where it's like, oh no, fuck you, we're going to use our own currency.
I believe there are places in London that will accept euros as well as pounds. I know there's a store in Manchester that accepts euros, but it's a 1-to-1 exchange. £1 is €1.
Yeah, you don't get a good exchange rate.
That's your own fault. It's easy though. It just keeps it simple.
Yeah.
However, I know Gibraltar does accept both. If you go to Gibraltar, it will accept sterling and euros.
I mean, think about them. Like they are literally sanctioned off, connected with Spain, and Spain do want Gibraltar back, but people in Gibraltar, they don't give a shit. No, they're quite happy.
You know what's weird? Here's a bit of weird history for you.
Okay.
The British have controlled Gibraltar longer than the Spanish have.
That is sick. That is really good. Go us.
And the reason for that is because of the Islamic conquest of the Iberia Peninsula.
Okay.
And they controlled most of southern Iberia for centuries.
Iberia or Siberia?
Iberia.
Okay.
Siberia is in Russia.
I was going to say, yeah.
Iberia is Spain and Portugal.
I've never heard of Iberia. That's really cool.
Really?
Right. Yeah, I've never heard of that, man.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the Muslims got pushed back, and eventually Spain got control of Gibraltar back, and quite quickly gave it up to the British, who have controlled it since, and have held it far longer than the Spanish.
Look, man, it's a big rock. You're not letting that thing go. That is our big rock.
You know, it got besieged for 4 years, and
really?
The Spanish still couldn't take it during the Napoleonic Wars.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Wait, so when did we actually take it?
We took it in the 1700s at some point.
Bloody hell! That is a long game. That is a long play that we're doing right there.
It's like Malta. Like there are specific islands that are quite strategic in the Mediterranean, and I do read up on my war history quite a bit. And if you control those islands, you basically control the Mediterranean. Malta's part of it. That's why we were so dedicated to keeping Malta supplied during World War II. Mm-hmm. Cyprus was one of them as well. And I think we lost that during World War II.
Yeah, no. I went on holiday like 5, 6, 7, 12 years ago, and they all spoke Spanish. So yeah, like we definitely don't have
5, 6, 7, 12.
Yeah, I don't have a clue. Is it Greek? Is it Spanish or Greek? I don't know what it is.
That's like a quarter and a half of your life that it could have happened in.
Well, no, because I like, here's the thing, right?
That's the time frame you're giving me.
The last 3 years have just been the same fucking year anyway, so I don't really know.
Cyprus is split in two. It's half Greco-Cypriot and half Turkish-Cypriot.
Oh, so neither of them are Spanish?
Neither are Spanish.
Interesting. Okay. We're getting quite historical on this podcast. I quite like it. You don't know what I found interesting? So Hong Kong, right? Obviously, massive uproar right now. But I mean, like, I've just got no... I've got no sympathy, just because if you wanted to get dual passports, you had the chance to do that. I think it was back in the 90s, right?
They did. However,
a lot of people didn't do it.
Back in the 90s, Hong Kong was just becoming the two systems, one government thing, whatever it is.
The handover was back in 99, I think, or was it 97?
It was 96. 96. It's the year I was born.
Yeah, nice.
However, to explain, we're trying to not say but as much because we realise we say buts a lot.
Yeah,
and
really
we do like
our
our buts, but we need to tone it down a bit.
So good. Okay. So what's the word that we're saying instead?
I'm trying to use however more, but I'm stopping myself from saying but because I'm not going.
I've completely forgotten about that rule. But I don't. Have I been saying it? I don't know. I've no idea.
Yeah. Anyway, Hong Kong.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but you got to remember back in '96, they were like, "This is going to be a great system. We've got 50 years to be ourselves."
Yeah,
that's a
transition.
Long time. It's not even been half of that, really. It's about half of it now.
Yeah, we're getting there.
And China is more and more aggressively trying to exert its control. And the Hong Kong citizens are more and more pushing back against these changes because it's not what they've grown up with. It's not what they're used to.
But this was the deal.
And here's the thing.
The Union Jacks were taken down on the mast.
Here's the thing. We're still pieces of shit.
Oh, 100%.
Because the only reason we started pushing democratization in Hong Kong was because we knew we would be giving it back to China at some point. So if we weren't giving it back to China, we wouldn't have pushed the democratic values of Hong Kong.
So are you saying that because the way I see it, right, Opium Wars, 1800s, we were like, 100-year, 99-year lease, it's someone else's problem, okay? Which is a really shitty mindset to have, right?
Before you continue, I believe the letter that was sent to Queen Victoria when they did this was 99 years might as well be in perpetuity.
Yeah, it might as well just be forever.
That was the mindset.
Yeah, exactly. Which is obviously not how we think now because life expectancy is much longer and we've got to think about conserving the planet and all that kind of stuff. So essentially, very, very quickly, the lease came up.
Yeah.
And we had to give it back. So we gave it back. But what you're saying is they strategically, we built up Hong Kong to be the economic super hub of that region of the world that it is today because we thought it would influence China?
No. We built it up for money, obviously. Hong Kong Island itself, we held in perpetuity. However, it was the leases that we got afterward that turned to we can't just keep the island and give the rest back.
Oh yeah,
we got to give it all back. Like Hong Kong is this big.
Ground rent's
not just
a bitch.
The island
honestly,
anymore.
Ground rent is a bitch. Oh fuck. Okay,
I believe.
That's just gone everywhere. Shit. Okay.
I believe Hong Kong has some of the highest costs of living, as well as the smallest surface area that you can have in that.
I didn't even shake this. Why has it just gone everywhere? Shit, man. Yeah. I'm hoping you've got good history in this because you're gonna have to keep talking for a little bit.
Yeah. So Hong Kong has a land problem, essentially.
It's tiny.
It's a constructed land problem, but it is there. And the British government back in the 70s and 80s decided to build this democratic value in Hong Kong in the same way that Singapore is, that it would become a city-state. I feel like this was the final push. It's pushing Hong Kong to be a city-state separate from China because you will get much more out of that than if it just returned to China.
Exactly. And even a lot of Chinese citizens, they will go to Hong Kong, do their shopping, and then go back to China.
I saw the best news this week relating to this subject.
Really?
And I'm glad you brought this up because it's not something I would have brought up myself.
Yeah, man. I don't watch the news. I don't know what you're talking about.
The UK have finally declared that China is in breach of the Hong Kong Treaty.
Nice.
Fucking finally, if you ask me.
Okay, good. All right.
I don't know what will come of this. I hope there will be are pushing the UN for a military intervention to like stop China. Fuck you, right?
Well, I'm gonna have another beer personally. I mean, that's what's gonna come out for me. I'm on a Camden Hells lager now, so obviously like bringing in with the British sentiment, you know.
OG.
Yeah. So you've got Camden Town, which I'm assuming is where this lager is from.
I believe so.
Yeah. It's a good place, man. Artist town, really good. Breaking
away from the conversation we were just having, I believe Camden beers in general are some of the best offered in the UK. And you do have to pay for it. There is a premium with Camden.
Oh, yeah.
But I appreciate that premium because I feel like I'm getting a premium beer with it.
Mm-hmm.
But my next beer is better than what Camden offers.
Fair enough.
I'll get to that.
We will get to that momentarily. Back on with Hong Kong. I just find it really interesting, man. At one point, I was so obsessed with watching the handover ceremony from like the late 90s when it happened. You got Prince Charles there representing the UK. And there was a big dispute literally just over like in what order does the British flag come down and the Chinese flag go up? Is it down? Is it up? Is it simultaneous? There's like a whole thing.
Yeah.
Like it was a really and what a weird thing to be witnessing as a citizen.
I believe what they said was 1996 was when the sun finally set on the British Empire.
Yeah, man, 100%.
And
that's when we handed it back.
That was the end of British imperialism.
But don't you feel, okay, so empires have been around for a long time. Don't you feel, I mean, everyone's like, oh, the British Empire, like, you know, it's crashing and burning right before our eyes. Like, you know, it's not a thing anymore. I mean, yeah, fair enough. It's shit for us. You can laugh at us. But isn't it better?
Fuck that. Times changed, right?
Yeah.
Times changed. End of story. Back in the 16, 17, 1800s, imperialism was the way.
Man, that shit was trending. It was fashionable. Like everyone was doing it.
Yeah,
but only because we made them.
And it's the mistreatment of the people being colonized that created the world we live in now.
Yeah, that's the problem.
And the one thing
stealing their resources, Africa is fucked because we took all their diamonds.
I could go to the 1500s and go to Queen Liz the First. Like, look.
Listen,
Britain is going to become the world's biggest superpower.
Yeah.
And you're going to subjugate a lot of people. However, don't subjugate them for profit.
Yeah.
Try and bring them into the British fold instead. Conquest them, invite them into a commonwealth like we're trying to promote now, is our post-imperial ambition, having the Commonwealth of Nations. And make everyone feel like they belong together and that it's beneficial for everyone. If you make railways in England, build one in India, build one in wherever the fuck you've got a colony.
Yeah.
And be like, this is what we're doing over here. We are going to support you technologically in the same way that we're going to do at home.
If they want it, of course. Because the thing is...
Well, you assume they would.
Well, I mean, yeah, because it's advancement, but I mean, you can't...
And it's not subjugation.
Yeah. But you get a lot of, I mean, this could get quite political now, actually. But I mean, you get a lot of like, we're gonna walk into your nation. We're gonna conquer it. We're gonna take it over. We're gonna rape and pillage. But it's all right. Here's a nice railway. Here's some roads. You know.
See,
and it's like if you just fucked off and didn't like interfere, then America's very guilty of that.
Let me keep it closer to home.
Okay.
What would you call the islands that we live on?
You mean the British Isles?
The British Isles. What constitutes the British Isles?
Now, here's the thing, right? So if my friend Michael, who is Irish, is listening to this, he's going to get very pissed off in a second because he disagrees with this. But the British Isles constitutes of the
United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom and Ireland.
And Ireland.
Yes.
As well as surrounding
Ireland
smaller
is
islands.
part of the British Isles. I'm not trying to start like an uprising. I'm just saying... That's what it says on Google Maps. That's how it is. You know, you've got your own thing going on, but that island is ours. Just saying.
Now, here's the thing. The British chronically mistreated the Irish for centuries.
Yeah, that's why it's annoying.
Starting with King Henry VIII, right?
He's a dickhead.
He was. Yeah.
He literally beheaded people as well.
His wives.
And he was a fat guy. Kept eating all the time.
Anyway...
Mate, he based the inch off his thumb. Like that's not scalable, man. Like your thumb might be a different size to someone else. You're just an idiot. Like anyway,
we chronically mistreated the Irish, I'm aware of that. And I think it came to head with the Irish Famine.
Famine?
Yeah. There was a problem with the potato crop.
Mm-hmm.
So there wasn't enough food.
Wait, Irish famine?
Famine.
Famine?
Yeah.
How many have you had, man? All right, fair.
There was a problem with the potato production.
I was thinking there was like a shortage
disease.
in women or something, like famine. Like,
yeah.
Right.
I don't English well, okay?
Well,
You even English, bro?
This is why we're doing a podcast.
Exactly.
Because we can't speak.
Anyway, the British, our government, still insisted on export of potatoes to Britain, despite there being a shortage in Ireland. It didn't matter that the Irish weren't being fed because we still had to feed the British. And that is, in my opinion, the biggest reason why Ireland were like, nah, fuck you guys.
Yeah,
the population of Ireland still hasn't returned to pre-famine levels.
God, really?
Really?
Jesus Christ. You know what? There's very little to be proud of about being British. Like, are you proud of anything?
We stopped slavery.
We fucking started slavery, dickhead.
No, Portuguese started slavery. We stopped it.
Hey,
we
endorsed it. We endorsed that shit. We took it to America. Yeah?
Right.
We took it from Africa and we took it to America.
Before you continue, there is a brilliant video from Saigon that goes through slavery.
Is this on YouTube?
It is. Saigon is a channel on YouTube. Can't remember the full name of the channel, but Saigon, if you type Saigon, you will find it.
Yeah, so Saigon slavery. Okay.
I believe it's Saigon of Akkad.
Okay.
He did a great video that goes through what slavery was, how normal, let me emphasize this, how normal it was the time.
It's like having a pet dog. Like, that's pretty normal. But you technically, we've enslaved a dog. Like, a dog's free to do what it wants, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's the same as that.
And the British single-handedly broke away from that normality and even pushed to free slaves against monetary value. We were losing money stopping the slave trade.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, it has been illegal. I believe it's illegal to trade slaves in England since 1066, since William the Conqueror.
What the fuck? That's ages ago. That's before.
And it was from the laws William the Conqueror impeded on the British that ultimately ended slavery in Britain, because it made it illegal to trade another human being. Mm-hmm. If you already had a slave, that was still your slave. But once they died out, I think that was it. No one really had slaves in England after that.
What a shit. I mean, okay, yeah, so fair enough. But I mean, yeah, we still partook in that. I guess we have. So, like, through trading and exploration, there's a lot of good that we've brought to the world in terms of a country. But I mean,
there's also a lot of bad.
Well, to be fair, every empire, that's the nature of it being an empire. I mean, the Romans, they came over here and they just killed a shitload of people, but then they, gave us currency and roads and like sewage.
I believe the Romans introduced bathing to the British as well.
God, we must have stunk, man.
Oh, we did.
Shit.
You know what happened?
We still do.
You know what happened after the Romans left?
What?
Disease.
What is that? When the bubonic plague started?
No, fuck no. The bubonic plague was like way after the Romans.
Okay.
So after the Romans.
I've not got a clue. All I know is that London was a name coined by the Romans, and then the Vikings came and they were like, "We're just gonna like fuck shit up," and that's exactly what they did.
Yeah.
Just a lot of horny helmets and horny helmets. They didn't
Rape and pillage, baby.
They didn't even have horns on their helmets. That's just because that's not practical, man.
No, that's one of the things of, I guess, romanticizing Vikings is having the horns in the helmets.
I mean, the way that Bethesda did it was much better, right? Iron helmet, like on Skyrim. The horns are angled down, okay, which means you can bash with them. Whereas if the horns are angled upwards, then they can be hooked by someone with a fucking shepherd's crook. Like, a fucking shepherd could take down a Viking. That's a problem, man.
You know what? I bought my Mam Skyrim today.
Yeah.
And to explain it, it's Mother's Day today. And I went and I said, Happy Mother's Day to my mum. And we had a nice meal. I didn't cook it, my sister did. I just helped pay for it. Because I'm a terrible cook.
Pay someone else to do it.
I was telling her about Skyrim, how it's like an adult's Zelda. My mum loves Zelda. She's been playing it for donkeys. I was like, this is what I would describe as adult's Zelda. So I installed it on a Nintendo Switch for her. I bought it, downloaded it. She's fucking terrible at using thumbsticks, man.
Well, here's the thing, because she's not grown up with she's not learned how to be a gamer. You have to learn how to be a gamer, man.
This is the thing, though.
You can't just play games.
This is the thing. My baby sister picked it up because she wanted to give it a quick try. And she got it so naturally.
Of course she did. What is she playing? She'll have an iPhone. She'll have a tablet. And she'll play with her thumbs to make.
She plays Among Us, man. She doesn't play games. She plays Zelda as well.
Yeah,
but she doesn't
Among
play.
Us, that's perfect. That's exactly it. You're using the left thumb to move. It's so intuitive.
This is the thing, though. My mum was telling me, you don't have to do that on Zelda. You can lock the camera to look the way you're facing. So you only need to use the left thumbstick instead of the right.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, that depends. But I mean, like, okay, so that's in terms of how a human interfaces with a video game, right? But there's other things too. For example, let me think of a game. So you're playing like a shooting game. You know you have to walk somewhere, and then you have to press a button to open a door, which then allows you to like go, and you've got to aim. Like, you're used to how a game functions and the mechanics of a game, and what you can and can't do. You know that you can walk and you can open a door, and like, just for the way, like a car, if a car looks a certain way, you know, oh, I can probably go and drive that. You go up, you drive it. Whereas if it's like a background car that's just parked on the side of the street, you know, oh, I'm probably not going to be able to drive that. Whereas a non-gamer, when you and me say to each other, oh, GTA is great, you can do anything on it. Would you agree you can do anything on GTA? Open world sandbox.
I would agree that you can do more than you would in the average game.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say anything.
Well, yeah, of course not. But
like, you can't kill a child in GTA because there aren't any kids in the game.
Yeah, exactly. And like with Skyrim,
also, this is not me endorsing murdering children. This is me giving an example.
Just stating an observation.
Yeah. Right? Even in Skyrim, you can't kill children. Yeah. They exist, but they will not die.
They are in God mode.
They will have a dagger, and you will knock them down, and they will still get up and start stabbing you with the dagger until you die. Because you attacked a child.
You agree that GTA is as an example, right? Is a very like open world. You can do most things.
Yeah.
A non-gamer might look at that game and be like, okay, I want to go get a job somewhere. I want to start a family. You can't do any of that shit. So, because we know that's not that we know of a game's limitations, whereas a non-gamer, they think the sky's the limit.
It's ironic you say that, because the previous GTA title, which at the time of recording is GTA 5, you have 3 playable characters, one of which has a family. You can just pick and choose which character you want. Yeah,
but you don't they exist, but you don't have a job, you don't do stuff for them. You're going out hustling drugs and going to strip clubs. I mean, it's not.
I feel like that is the GTA thing.
Of course. But
GTA 4, the whole thing is about building a family. I never finished GTA 4.
Is it?
Yeah.
What?
I remember.
I guess.
You've got your cousin, Roman, who always wants to go bowling, of course.
Fuck you. I don't want to go fucking bowling.
And you've got your girlfriend. And I believe at the end of the game, you've got 2 options. One saves Roman or one saves your girlfriend. But from saving your girlfriend, you progress and start a family with her. You get married. I don't think it goes as far as having kids, but you do tie the knot, so to speak.
I never finished the campaign of it.
I'll be honest, I've never finished a GCA campaign.
Well,
I just go on and cause shit.
San Andreas, man. San Andreas, yeah, I finished that multiple times. Such a good game. It's actually a perfect game in my opinion. There are parts of it that are a bit annoying, just interface-wise, but it's an old game, man. Come on. Some of the things are going to be difficult. I remember playing old Spyro games back in the day, and those games were difficult just because the fucking controls were a piece of shit. The games were very limiting. Back then, in the early 2000s, to complete a game was a big achievement.
Yeah.
That was I've completed this. Fucking hell.
This is pre-online multiplayer, though.
Yeah.
A lot of games push the multiplayer aspects now. And that just didn't exist back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, we had Xbox Live briefly, but, well, I didn't have it. You know, it wasn't very accessible.
It
wasn't really
that
a done
existed,
thing.
but it wasn't something that had been built upon.
Yeah, no. Like, the foundations were there, but it wasn't even like...
I believe it was Halo 2 that took full effect of
XPL. Yeah, they really... But, I mean, like, years before that, on the PC platform... You know, you could play like World of Warcraft and shit. So like there were online like ways to play multiplayer, but it wasn't as widely adopted. It wasn't so normal.
Yeah,
people didn't have either internet or decent enough internet. So you know, most people
had
couldn't.
That dial-up connection.
Yeah.
It is crazy to think like we're not old in the slightest. We're pretty young. But we've still lived through quite the advancement in technology when it comes to...
There's been a lot of changes.
Yeah.
A lot of changes.
And that's crazy.
It's mental.
We were speaking about it last week. When I was a kid, I was using a fucking Walkman. And now I just stream shit on my phone. I don't even need a fucking disc.
Yeah, because the internet... Just the idea of having internet on your phone as well is like... It's crazy. I never had that as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I remember when the internet on phones was like... This
it
was a weird...
Money.
It cost money and it wasn't even the full internet. It was like the mobile internet or whatever.
Yeah, it was this cut down version.
200 pages on the entire internet. That's all you got.
It was this cut down version because a phone physically could not download the data required.
The data couldn't be sent to you either.
Yeah.
The infrastructure wasn't there, man. There was nothing. On 2G, not even 1G.
I think it was 2G. I think 3G.
It's probably E, to be honest.
I think 3G was when we started to get enough data to be able to actually send things and do stuff on the internet. So pre-3G, which is when we started using phones, would have been 2G.
Yeah.
And that would have been... You could send a text reliably, you would make phone calls, but it still costs money, man.
Yeah. So
imagine having to pay to send a text.
I can't remember what it was. So like, I think 1G was text. I believe 2G was like some picture message functionality.
Yeah.
3G came in, you could actually like download data.
You could use the internet.
Yeah, you could actually do stuff. You know, you got some stuff to do, you can do that, man. You can actually do that now. It's pretty cool.
And we're now touching 5G. Have you seen the Sony Pro phone? I think it's just called the Sony Xperia Pro.
So like, it's weird, right? I used to have a Sony Xperia phone, but the Sony phones, they've always seemed a bit dry to me. I don't know, like they're very forgettable. I mean, Nokia are doing phones right now. I bet you didn't know that.
I agree.
Yeah.
However, they've gone down a very specific path with this one.
Okay.
And it's for the producer.
What, the film producer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like your amateur film producer, like you and me, we have our cameras and it probably integrates a lot better with Sony cameras,
well,
such
that's
as your
what
own.
I've got. Yeah, I've got one, yeah.
And the Sony Xperia Pro can act as a viewfinder for you. You can hook it up to your camera with a mount.
Okay.
And you can run a HDMI into your phone to transfer all the data and use that as your viewfinder and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they can also do it wirelessly, I believe. I don't know if you've heard of Jerry Rig Everything.
Yeah, I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, he tore down this phone. It's a $2,500 phone, so about £2,200, I'm guessing.
Okay.
And there are just 5G cables everywhere to help with the transfer of data between phone and camera.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, $2,500 for a phone, man.
Is that how much this thing costs?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. But it is aiming for a very specific market.
It's a very, very niche.
Very niche.
But
and I feel like it is justified by the nicheness of the market.
Well, it's so weird because, like, if you're a filmmaker, you've probably got a camera and you've probably got an external recorder, which has a much bigger screen than the phone, a much better screen than the phone, and has the functionality of recording the footage through the recorder, right? At a much higher bitrate than what the camera can do internally. Okay, so, you know, why would you, like, I'd just keep my phone, personally, I'd just keep my phone cheaper and keep it separate.
I believe the biggest USP for this is live streaming. you can hook it up to a DSLR quality camera and be able to live stream that through
your phone,
HDMI
which
connection
rather
into your
than
phone.
using your normal camera. Okay, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
That's pretty decent. I like that.
And going back to what I was saying before, Camden Pale, I do like a Camden Pale. However, it is beaten, in my opinion, by the Sharps Atlantic Pale Ale. It's not as widely available. However, it is one that I've been hooked to since I started drinking. It's one of the first ones I got on tap after Doom Bar.
Doom Bar's very good. But you know what? Like, Doom Bar, you can buy it across the road in the shop. And, you know, it comes in bottles. But I don't find myself like... I miss going to the pub and having a Doom Bar on tap. But I don't find myself buying it in the bottles. Why am I not buying it?
We've had this conversation before. And I believe the conclusion we came to was the exponential growth of Sharps as a brewery and the exponential love for Doom Bar as a whole has reduced the quality of Doom Bar.
Do you reckon so?
I believe so. And don't get me wrong, it is a very lovely ale. If you're not someone who likes your ales, Doom Bar is a nice introduction to that.
Yeah,
it's
good.
It's
nice. Very, very smooth. It's very warm. It's very flat. Nice amber colour. I like it.
And you do get different tastes. Like if you buy a bottle of Estrella against a keg of Estrella, you will get a different result. For example, if we have a problem with the gas system in work, you're going to have a shit pint.
Yeah.
But if the gas system is putting more gas than normal, it's so nice.
Mm-hmm.
It changes the flavour quite a lot. Mostly with the Doom Bar, it's not pressurised. It is a keg.
Yeah.
It's a proper traditional keg.
What you get, what you see is what you get. And it's been done...
It's probably the barrel.
The barrel?
Yeah. You'll probably have a bit of barrel aging going on in there. If it's a good quality barrel, you get a good quality Doom Bar. Whereas a glass bottle, you won't have the same effect.
Beer is a very complicated thing. I mean, I see you drinking out of the bottle there. I pour mine into a glass just because I feel it aerates and you just get... Like, I don't really drink many...
I'll be honest with you.
Stouts.
I just don't like the extra step.
I mean, fair enough, man. But I mean, we've got some nice glasses here. And there's not many left because you keep smashing them, yeah.
Not just me. They're just fragile.
Yeah. No. Well, I mean, on the podcast, you're the one that smashes glasses, but I have smashed one of these before as well.
Yeah, I believe
in 2 pieces. I did very well.
You did, yeah. I didn't smash this glass though. I smashed the rocks glass. Yeah.
It's like a knobbly kind of glass. It looks like it's a bit of an uneven shape, but it's really cool.
Yeah, but I have smashed one of these before. It was when we first got the draining board out. I tried to put it in one way and it just crushed it and it shattered everywhere. I felt stupid because I realised if I just put it the other way, it would have been fine.
Yeah. No, it didn't go too well for you. But stouts. Very, very dark. Not Guinness, but like other stouts.
You know what?
They taste so much better in a glass.
I'm not a big fan of stout in the slightest.
I'm not, but that's because you're drinking it out of a bottle, man.
But I love a Guinness.
And Guinness is its own class. It's not the same as a
stout.
stout.
I don't like Guinness out of a can or anything. I like it out of a tap.
You have to go to Ireland for that.
You pour, you leave it, you let it sit for 2 minutes. Almost.
Yeah.
Almost 2 minutes.
1:49 should do it.
What?
I'm trying to be like obnoxiously specific. 1 minute 49 is roughly what you want.
No. If you want obnoxious and specific, I believe the advert states 119.5 seconds.
Oh, it's fucking 2 minutes, man.
Yeah, I know. I know. But some people are a bit pedantic like that. And I'll be honest, no one has a fucking stopwatch going to make sure they get it at the exact moment.
But for coffee, they do.
London bartenders.
Okay.
They do not know how to pour a Guinness. They will put the glass on the drip tray, turn on the tap and go and serve someone else. And they let it fill to the top.
That's not what a Guinness is meant to be. That's how you do anything else.
I've got a great story from RTX.
All right.
Irish lass in the Fox decided, fuck this, I'm making it myself. Went behind the bar and poured her own Guinness.
My God, what, she's a customer?
Yeah.
My God.
Because they just wouldn't do it right.
Ballsy, man. Well, I mean, like, in America, yeah, you can't expect them to give you a good point. Like, you go to America, you're not going to get a good pint. Oh, wait, no, this was RTX London.
Mm.
Oh, God, that's terrible.
There goes the sound.
Jesus Christ. Every week I just get
I've never
scared.
been to America. This is RTXL.
It sounds like it's like extra large, like a bigger RTX, but it's just RTX London.
No, it was definitely smaller.
Yeah.
However, I feel like they misbranded it.
Yeah.
They should have called it RTXE.
RTXE? What,
RTX
England?
Europe.
Oh, Europe. Well, they can't call it that anymore.
This is the thing. If they called it Europe, they could have done it in different countries and got different audiences each time they did it.
That's true. Just keep moving around. Bit of Austria, bit of Germany, bit of Slovakia, bit of France, you know.
But they cut the overseas RTXs due to cost restrictions. It was costing them too much to do it without enough return. So they cut it out, and I'm actually quite sad that they did because I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I was going to try and go to the actual RTX in 2020, but that didn't happen either.
Well, I mean, you still can, man. Like, you know.
No, I can't. 2020 has been and gone.
No, I mean, like next year. Like, I reckon 2022. Because of course 2020 was shit. 2021 obviously still has a lot of the remnants of 2020. But here's the thing: you go to America, apparently everything's normal. You just got to wear a mask occasionally, and you can go and get a pint, get some food.
Yeah, but America's had some of the worst cases and death rates in the world.
Which is why it's weird that they don't seem to give a shit. Like, what's wrong with them, man?
First Amendment rights, baby.
What, the gun thing?
No, that's the Second Amendment.
So what's the first?
First Amendment is you can do whatever you want without government intervention.
Well, that's why in the UK it's just guidance. Like, the government guidance is to wear a mask and don't be a dickhead. That's the guidance.
And if you don't follow the guidance, they slap a fine on your face.
Well, look, I don't know anyone who's been fined. I know of people who have.
My family got a letter in the door saying, "We believe you've been breaching COVID rules." And they're like, "We've not."
Oh, come on. They probably put that in every fucker's letterbox.
We've not.
Just to scare them, like 100%.
However, they're having a bit of a spat with the neighbours, and they feel the neighbour has reported them to try and,
right, so
cause a problem.
Here's the thing with the British people, right? We're very petty. We're very pathetic.
This is the thing. They had the police show up to their house because the neighbours reported a potential breach in guidelines. And my mum opened the door in her fucking pyjamas.
Yeah.
And let them in and were like, I'm going to bed.
Like, technically letting them in is a breach of guidance as well, right?
But they're doing their job. You've got to respect that they're doing the job.
Well, if they're doing the job, then they shouldn't come in the house, should they? Should stand at the fucking door.
This is a catch-22, and you gotta think about what side of the catch you need to focus on.
I just think
because you could say the same thing about, you remember the party in Beetham Tower? You could say the same thing. Like they could just all go in the back room. It's like, oh, you shouldn't come in because of COVID guidelines. But then they're not gonna confirm that there's a party or not. Yeah. They have to confirm that there is no breach, which is better than there being a breach and them agreeing, you're right, we shouldn't come in the house.
Oh, God. I was waiting for that. Oh, God. Just like sneezing.
Two big sneezes.
Right, so what I wanted to say, at least it doesn't peak the microphone. If you sneezed, then you'd have to do some serious editing. You are so loud at your sneezes.
If I sneeze, I will peak all three microphones.
100%.
The one that I'm using that's balanced to me, the one that Marcus is using that's balanced to him, and the ambient.
Yeah, they would all just go off.
You know when I sneeze, there's a fucking ringing somewhere in this flat.
Yeah, that's the fucking, that's the burglar alarm, man. That's what that is. It's so goddamn loud. Like, I do believe that there is a way for a person to change how they sneeze, only because I've done it myself. I know it's difficult, but I do believe it's possible. You say this,
but the amount of pain I encounter by stifling a sneeze.
Just do it differently, man. I don't have any pain.
I don't know how.
You'll figure it out. You figure it out, you'd be fucking better. It's loud as fuck. I'm trying to get sleep and it's just suddenly, oh shit, and it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
You heard me the other night.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was just there and then suddenly it was like, boom. Oh shit, that was a loud sneeze.
Yeah, it's just like a bomb's gone off.
Multiple times.
100%.
Boom, boom.
But so back to what I'm saying, like, here's the problem with this country. We are very, very petty and we complain a lot. I know someone who, in his old job, his old place of work, they're a marketing agency. They have obviously employees, and they sell services to market and whatever, right? And one of the colleagues of my mate at his old job, he'd had a party. I mean, I don't know like how many people, probably about 10. He'd posted something on Instagram, of this house party, right? Anyway, a fucking customer caught wind of that and then had the like downright gall to like write in and say, oh, I was gonna use your marketing services, but after seeing this picture on Instagram, I don't really want to. I'm not happy with your behavior. You shouldn't condone this, and you've now missed out on my money supporting your business. And then the response for that company was, fuck you, you fucking bitch. Like it's just such a pathetic, like, just everyone, no one has been 100% to the guidelines, right?
No, I agree. I for a fact, for myself.
But they were probably all in his bubble anyway, and like, who cares? They're all in you don't know what their situation is. Everyone at the party could be living alone. They're not seeing old people. They keep them to themselves. They're not outside on the street. Just don't be such a like, oh, I've got to complain. Like, just do your own thing.
Well, yeah. I mean,
we just moan too much, man. It's so annoying.
I do agree with you, but sometimes you have to take a stand and do something about it.
Yeah, but don't be a little whining bitch going, oh, I was going to use your services. She wasn't going to use their services. She wasn't going to be a customer.
No.
She just got something, just short of something to do.
At the end of the day, if you don't like what they've done, just don't use the services. Don't bitch about it.
Yeah.
But in saying that, before we finish this podcast, I'd like to say that this week we have had a torrent of news.
Oh, okay.
A torrent of varied news. Some worse than others. Obviously, we had the thing with Meghan Markle.
Yeah, Meghan Merkel. Yeah.
Merkel. And about the baby and people being concerned about the colour of the baby, which was fucking stupid if you ask me.
So stupid.
We've also had the problem with server Everard. And I'm not going to go into details about the thing in whole. However, I would implore our listeners to check out the comedian Daniel Sloss. So he makes a great statement at around 2019 about women being raped and how they do everything they can in their power to not get raped. Look him up, David Sloss. Watch the clip and share it with your friends. It's quite an insightful clip. And I implore people to look at it, think about it, and consider your own actions in light of the events with server Everard, which I do hope you've heard about. I didn't want to go about it on this podcast because it is quite depressing to think about. So I hope you've enjoyed the podcast in its whole, but I did want to touch on this just a little bit at the end.
Yeah. Just bring the mood down right before the end. I actually haven't got a clue what you're talking about, but I mean, you've got a very somber, sincere tone, so I feel like I should have a look into that as well.
I'll show you the clip at the end. And obviously, on that note, it is time to end TGT-005.
God,
the sixth recording.
I've got to be honest, mate. This is a very somber tone that you've suddenly If the last episode of Top Gear before, on the BBC, before obviously it went to the new hosts, you got Hammond and May.
Yeah,
and they just said, and unfortunately this is it. Goodbye, and that was it. It just sounds like we're not going to be here next week.
And I respect what they did, and honestly, watch this, share it with your mates, think about your own actions, think about the actions your mates take, and hopefully we can promote a better world from it.
You know what's cool? We're recording this on a Sunday evening. Top Gear was ahead on a Sunday evening.
I'm going to kill you because I'm trying to end this podcast in a nice tone.
I like the fucking mood, man.
And you keep jumping in with something a bit more cheerful.
We've got beer. It's all about enjoying yourself and having a great time. Obviously,
we've enjoyed ourselves. Let me pass this message and end.
Save that shit for the fucking first half hour where we actually sound cohesive. The second half is all about being dumb.
Let me end the fucking podcast, alright? Thank you for listening to Two Guys Talking, episode 5, with Kris, with Marcus. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope in the future you will keep enjoying it. I'm sorry we ended on such a somber tone.
Yeah, it's fair. I was going to say, I hope that it's better than how you ended last week's podcast. Obviously, how you ended it was cut. If you want to find out more, then head to our YouTube. But yeah, Thank you for listening.